Hi guys, and welcome back to my shop. I finished up my dust collection for this little Sidewinder CNC. I've got a kind of a DIY dust shoe here, and I'm using a Craftsman 6 horsepower 16 gallon shop vac going through my top hat separator, which I'll show you here in just a second. But this is working pretty good. It's got the McMaster car bristles here that that material that I use, and I'll leave a link down below in the description for that. But let me get this thing off of here and let's take a look at it. Okay, this is the top part here. I've just got a 69 millimeter hole cut here. In fact, I've almost got this one too snug because it's really kind of hard to get on and off. But once you get it on, this part's going to stay on anyway. So I do have a little threaded insert here with a bolt that I can kind of snug it up as well. But it really fits on snug the way it is. On the bottom side, I've got a couple of holes here, or little pockets. You can see I have some bottle caps currently. I couldn't find any washers that size that I was looking for, so I thought I found these bottle caps, and I tried that and it seemed to hold pretty good. But I may end up replacing these with some washers. And then for the hole here, this is a 2 1/4 hole here, and I 3D printed a couple of these mounting flanges, and you can see that this is really a snug fit, so it has a good seal on it. The other one I put on top of the top hat separator over there, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So this piece goes on, and again, like I said, this goes on really, fits really tight, and then I'll tighten this down just to kind of snug it up. So that'll hold that. And then this piece, I have a groove that I'll be showing you in the VCAR file. I have a groove cut here, and then I just press this in. And this was actually on another dust shoe that I'm no longer using, so I was able to pull that material out since I didn't glue it in. It's just a press fit into that groove. And then I just trimmed it up to fit this smaller size, and it worked fine. And again, I'll have a link to in the description below for the McMaster car part number for this stuff right here. I love this stuff. It works great. I have a couple of really strong magnets that I got off of Amazon over here on this side, and you can see that it goes on there pretty good. Seems to be holding up sturdy, so I think that'll be fine. And then of course the hose goes on here like this for a good thing. Then I've just got my switch down here. And I can turn this on, and it will go through the top hat separator. Which, let me move the camera around and I'll show you that. You can see here this hose goes from here. I have it going over to the front of the top hat separator. Okay, so that hose coming around from the top goes right here into the front of this top hat separator. Again, just a friction fit. And then the other 3D printed flange that I did goes on top of the top hat separator, and then that hose goes down to the Craftsman 6 horsepower 16 gallon shop vac that I'm using. Okay, let's take a look at the drawing that I created for this. Okay, here is the VCAR Pro drawing. This up here on the top is the bottom view of the top piece. There's the 406 hole for the cross dowel furniture nut. There's the 69 millimeter hole that'll go around your router. Up here, you'll have to turn it on its side and manually drill a hole for the 1/4 20 bolt to tighten it up. And just a little tip, if you make this out of plywood here, don't try to start off with a 1/4 inch bit and drill this through. You're going to bust up the edge of the plywood. You always want to start with a really small bit, maybe a 090 or something like that, 3/32. Drill it through the center and then just keep going larger and larger with your bit until you get a hole. If you try to drill that with a 1/4 inch hole, it'll just get all tore up and won't look good. So start off small and just gradually go bigger. These little holes here, there are circles that are here. These are for the pockets to put in the, in my case, I put bottle caps, but you can put washers, or you could even put magnets here as well. Just make sure if you put magnets down here on the bottom piece and the top piece, make sure you have the polarity set so that they attract and not repel. So, and then of course here is the 225 hole that I put in there, and then I use a 3D printed flange, and I'll share the file for that as well down below in the video description if anybody wants to 3D print that. Couple things I want to point out here. You'll notice that this is the bottom view of the bottom piece. And of course, these magnets where these two circles here are, they would actually be on the other side because your brush material is going to go in here in this groove. So I'll explain that in a little bit when I'll show the video clip and show you how I did that. For this groove here, you're going to get a press fit for that brush material. My tip for this is when you run this, I have the first program set up to where it does this little tick mark here, these two tick marks, and then does this groove. And I'm using a 1/8 inch. I think it's an upcut. Doesn't really matter. It might be a down cut. Anyway, when you cut this groove, you want to check before you do anything else. Try pressing in that material. If it's too snug, just offset it just a few thousandths and run it again. And then that way you can sneak up on it and get a good press fit. For some reason, if you go too big and now you got too loose a fit, you could always glue that material in, the brush material. But I like to sneak up on it and get a good solid press fit where you can push it in, but yet it won't come out. And then that way you can always pull it out and use it for something else, or you can replace it easily if it gets hung up on a router bit or something. Okay, the tick marks here, what these are for, and you don't have to do it this way. This is just how I like to do these. Since I know this pocket is going to be on the other side, I just put a small tick mark going down maybe a 1/16, basically just to mark the location. Then when I pull this out after it's all done, I'll flip it over, or I'll take a small drill bit, real tiny drill bit, like a 3/32 or something, and drill a hole all the way through to the other side so that when I flip it over, I can now take the point of a spade bit and use that to put in my drill press and drill the pocket manually from the other side. You could do it with the CNC. You'd have to do a double-sided program and all that. To me, it's just quicker just to mark the location, drill it through so that I know where it is on the other side, and then use the drill press to use a spade bit and make that pocket that way. You don't have to do it that way. Do it however you want. I'm just telling you this so that when we get over here and look at the tool pass, it'll make sense to what we're doing here. Okay, let's come take a look at the tool pass. As I mentioned, I use a 1/8 inch bit. This little drill, the first tool path, that again is just doing a little tick mark. In fact, I've got it going down just 60 thousandths is all it's doing. That's just to mark that so that I can drill and get my location on the other side of that part. Okay, the second program is for the groove. It's also using that 1/8 inch bit. So I programmed these or save these as a program where these two tool paths are the first run and then the other three are the second run because I use a different bit. If I turn those off, you can see this one is doing this pocket for the either washers, bottle caps, magnets, whatever you want to use there. This one right here, you could run a profile path here if you wanted to. I like to go ahead and get rid of that material. It takes longer to run, but I'm only making one of these, so it doesn't matter how long it takes. So I use a pocket tool path to get rid of all that material. And then the profile, you can see how this goes in here and gets rid of this. So you will have a hockey puck here that may come flying out at you. So you might want to use tabs. I used a downtown Jenny bit. So I didn't use any tabs to hold it down. Using a down cut, the chips from the material just pack in there and hold that down. But if you're using an upcut bit, for sure you'll want to put some tabs or something on here. Now, I'm not going to provide the tool path. I never recommend anybody use the tool path from somebody else. I'm going to provide this in an SVG, and you can put your own tool path on because your machine is not going to be the same as my machine. So you always want to use your own tool path. But I'm just wanting to show you how these work when the way I did it, so you can kind of understand it. So here again, when you get done, you'll see that this piece does not have that pocket for the magnet here. And again, I just took a small drill bit, drilled through here on both sides, went all the way through, and then that way I could use a spade bit on the other side to create the pocket for the magnets. Okay, if you got anything out of this video, please leave it a thumbs up. And I'm going to be 3D printing some brackets to put on my homing switches. So if you want to see how I do that, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notifications every time I upload a new video. Until the next one, thank you very much for watching.